Hi guys, welcome back to CJ's Keto Kitchen. Tonight we are going to be making a very special dessert because it's for Valentine's Day. And if you don't celebrate Valentine's Day, we hope that you'll still come and celebrate with us because you are our Valentine. And we are going to be making keto red velvet cupcakes. So come along with me and let's get started. So red velvet is very popular, especially in the South. This is my first attempt with creating it, and I have become fond of it. It has a very unique taste. It's chocolatey, but it's also light. It has a little bit of a tang, and of course it has a very beautiful red color, which is very appropriate for this time of year, and something that you can make for you and your sweetheart to enjoy. So come along with me and let's get started. So you are going to need to preheat your oven for these cupcakes to 350 degrees. Because we are making cupcakes, you are going to need some type of cupcake tin, and I am going to be using silicone. That is what I prefer. I have greased mine just because these are relatively new, and I want to make sure that our cupcakes come out easily, but of course do whatever you'd like. If you use a paper liner, you probably won't get quite as much of your cupcake out, and that is why I really like using silicone. And because this is for Valentine's Day, I decided to do a few in my heart-shaped mold because that's going to give us heart-shaped cakes. I will have this linked in our favorites list on Amazon. That's where I got mine. But I am also going to be showing just the traditional round, but I will be decorating it with a heart with just a little bit of extra fanciness because I'm extra fancy. So I will be showing you both types. So to begin our cupcakes, I'm going to start by sifting my dry ingredients. So I'm going to add all of my dry ingredients into my sifter. You don't have to sift this, but I do recommend it because it does assist in the velvety texture that we're going for because it's called red velvet and you want it to be velvety. So I just have my sifter here. The first thing that I am going to put into my sifter is almond flour, and I need 1 3/4 cups of almond flour. Next, I need sweetener, and I'm going to be using powdered sweetener, and I would suggest that you do the same. If you have granular sweetener, you can definitely use that. I would suggest that you whirl it up in your food processor or a coffee grinder. It's really helpful in achieving the fluffy texture that we're going for if you use a confectioned product or a powdered product. I'm going to be putting in 2/3 of a cup. So there's 1 and 2. Of course, we need some cocoa because this is a chocolate flavored dessert. And I'm just going to be using regular Hershey's cocoa powder. And I want 2 tablespoons, and you don't need to firmly pack cocoa, just loosely packed, 2 tablespoons. Now we need some leaveners so that our cake will rise and be fluffy. I want 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And then I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I'm also going to put in 1 teaspoon of sea salt. So I'm going to begin sifting this into my bowl. And as I near the end of my sifter, you will see that there are still going to be some solid particles. And so I will more than likely finish putting it through the screen with a spoon. Okay, so I have our beautifully sifted dry ingredients, and I'm going to set that aside while we get our wet ingredients ready. I'm going to be starting with a medium-sized bowl because we are going to be combining our dry ingredients into this after we have mixed up our wet ones. So I've got 3 whole eggs here, and these have been sitting out at room temperature. I like baking with room temperature ingredients. We need 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to be putting in a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I have shaken mine up really well because the mother, that's what they call the good ingredients inside apple vinegar, can sometimes collect on the bottom, so it's really good to shake it up. And we want a tablespoon of this. It's very traditional in red velvet to either have buttermilk or some type of acid. In this case, we're using our vinegar. That's going to combine with the other liquid that I'm about ready to put in. And that is going to be 1/2 cup of heavy cream. And that's going to give the flavor and texture that you're looking for with red velvet without having to use buttermilk. So it gives that buttermilk effect because it's a chemical reaction that takes place. I'm going to add just a little squeeze of liquid sweetener. I usually do that when I'm using a monk fruit or erythritol type product. This is just a personal preference. I find that it does help offset some of the cooling that can happen, but once again, that's completely optional. And I usually just put 1 squeeze in. I'm also going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, I'm going to talk about food coloring for a moment. And red velvet has a beautiful red color. Back when red velvet first came into popularity, cocoa was processed in a different way than it is today. Cocoa used to be an entirely different product, and that cocoa would actually provide the red color for red velvet. But now cocoa is processed differently in our grocery stores, so usually what we find on the shelves has a different process. So it no longer provides the red color that traditional red velvet used to have. So nowadays, we tend to assist the redness of red velvet by adding food color. I'm going to be adding a gel product. Gel food color is a lot more concentrated. It's not difficult to find, although a lot of times you do need to look somewhere in the cake decorating part of your store. So if you were going to do that at Walmart, you'd go over where a lot of the other Wilton and cake decorating type things are at, and you can find it there. If you can't find gel coloring, you can use regular food coloring. You will just need to use a lot more of it. For gel, you can use 1 to 2 teaspoons. If you're going to be using a liquid, you're going to be using more like 2 tablespoons. So I'm just going to squeeze that in. And as we mix it up, I'll be able to see if it's red enough. Okay, it looks pretty red to me. I have combined all of our wet ingredients, and now I'm going to slowly combine our dry ingredients into our wet ingredients. I'm going to dump in about 1/2. So I am going to transfer my batter into my Pyrex just so that it will assist me in filling up my cupcake molds. I have to leave a little bit in the bowl, at least, for CJ to lick the bowl. So I'm going to endeavor to get 12 out of this. The other time that I tried it, I only got 11 because I'm not super great at making sure that each amount is even in here, but I'm going to try. And you don't want to fill them too full because they are going to rise quite a bit. So now that I have my 12, I'm going to go back and fill up just a bit more in some of these. So you are going to bake these for 15 minutes. Then you are going to turn them 180 degrees and bake them for another 8 to 10 minutes, keeping an eye on them for doneness. So we are going to start out for 15 minutes at 350 degrees. Okay, so they've been in for 15 minutes. And now I'm going to turn them and I'm going to let them go for starting at about another 8 minutes. Yep, they're done. I think I got a little out of control with this heart. I've got an enlarged heart. Wow, what a nerd. Okay, you're going to want to let these get real cool before we put our icing on. So we're just gonna let them sit here, and then I will show you how to prepare the cream cheese icing in just a few minutes. I have taken a few cupcakes out of the molds. Some of them I'm not experienced with the heart-shaped molds. Maybe you can do better than me, but I did get a couple of really perfect ones. But I'm going to show you how to ice them, or possible ideas on how to ice them. So we're going to begin making our cream cheese frosting, because red velvet cake is really a vehicle for some excellent cream cheese frosting. So inside my bowl I have 8 ounces of softened cream cheese. And to that I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of softened butter. And I'm just going to give this a quick blitz just to combine those two. So now I'm going to add my powdered natural sweetener. I'm using monk fruit erythritol blend, and I want a cup of this. So there's a half a cup. I'm also going to add a little bit of vanilla extract just to make this taste really yummy. I'm going to start whipping this as is. If I find that it's too thick to pipe out of my bag, I will add a little bit of heavy cream, and I just have it here. It's about 2 tablespoons, but I might not need it, we'll see. It's a bit too thick, so I'm going to add just a little bit of my cream. Okay, so there's our cream cheese icing. So I have just taken a Ziploc bag and I cut the corner off and I put my piping tip into it. And now I'm going to fill my bag with my icing and decorate our cupcakes a little bit. And I'm gonna do about half of it into my bag. And it's pretty thick, so we'll have to see how it pipes. So we are going to try and make some decorations here with our icing. And I am doing a heart because this is Valentine's Day. And I'm doing a double heart because I have double the love. So there's how it looks on the round one. And now I'm going to do the heart-shaped one in the same fashion. And you could, of course, just take a knife and put frosting on. But I wanted to decorate with a little bit of heart. So there's the 2 different styles. Okay, so it is Valentine's Day, and I made keto red velvet cupcakes. And I am going to have my Valentine taste test it for me.
Hi.
I put lots of my love in this.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell me what you think.
You put a lot of almond flour in it too. No, thank you for doing all that work. Because I know this wasn't one of your favorite recipes.
I've had a few attempts, yes.
All right. It's good. Whatever you did different from this batch and the test batch, it's good. It's not falling apart.
Good.
It's moist. It's still moist. And the frosting is a good addition.
Good.
So I think it would be good without it, but the frosting really seals the deal. So Thanks for your hard work, baby.
Thank you.
I appreciate all you do. I love you.
I love
Bye.
you too. Bye. Thanks for joining us again tonight, you guys. We hope that you enjoy the cupcakes as much as we have been. We hope that you will consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you know when our content goes up. On Wednesdays, we have Keto Conversations, and that's where we get together and talk about different ketogenic topics. Sometimes we have food unboxings, sometimes we have grocery hauls, and then other times we just sit and visit about the keto lifestyle. So we hope that you will join us there. Our new recipes go up every Sunday, and sometimes they're sweet, and sometimes they're savory, and sometimes they're special, like this one. So definitely hit the bell so you know when that happens. We are also on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and we're also trying a little bit of TikTok. And that is CJ's Keto Kitchen everywhere. If you need any information for this recipe, we also have recipes from previous years for Valentine's Day. In fact, I have a special 5-recipe segment on the blog right now, and that is cjsketokitchen.com. And there you will find all of our ingredients, other recipes, macros, taste test follow-ups, and anything else you might need. So definitely go over there. We hope that you'll come back and see us again. And until you do, we hope that you stay safe and stay well.